If God can forgive us, why did Jesus have to die? Think about it. If I hurt you and you decide to forgive me, you don't need to punish someone else first. You can just forgive me. So if God is all-powerful and loves us, why didn't he simply say, I forgive you? Why the cross? This is one of the most important questions you can ask about Christianity, because the answer shows us what the cross actually means. Imagine if I owe you $10,000. One day you look at me and say, forget it, you don't have to pay me back. You have forgiven the debt. You didn't need someone else to pay it. You chose to absorb the loss yourself. So why couldn't God do the same with sin? Why not just forgive everyone? And that's a fair question. And the answer some Christians give, God had to punish somebody, can sound like God is sitting in heaven, waiting for someone to suffer before he's willing to forgive. But that's not the Christian understanding. Jesus is not an innocent third party that God decided to punish instead of us. Jesus is God the Son, willing to give himself. That changes everything. Sin isn't just breaking a list of rules. It's so much deeper than that. Lying, hatred, selfishness, lust, greed, they damage people, they damage relationships, they damage us. When we turn away from God, we separate ourselves from the source of life that we were made for. Something has gone wrong in us. Forgiveness isn't God pretending none of that happened. Forgiveness does not mean that the damage wasn't real. If someone destroys what belongs to you and you forgive them, the damage is still there. If someone betrays you and you forgive them, the betrayal still happened. You're not saying it didn't matter. You're saying, I will not make you pay me back. If I break your phone and you forgive the debt, you are the one who absorbs the loss. That's a small picture of the cross. God isn't looking for someone to take his anger out on. He's taking the initiative to absorb the consequences of our sin himself so he can bring us home. God didn't need the cross to start loving us. He already loved us. The cross is a way he chose to save us. The Father is not reluctantly saying, fine, I'll forgive them if Jesus suffers enough. Christianity says God himself entered into our brokenness. Jesus willingly laid down his life. As he said in John 10, no one takes it from me, but I lay it down on my own accord. The cross is not Jesus convincing the Father to love us. The cross is God showing us his love. Imagine someone committed a terrible wrong against someone you love. Would it feel right to say, God forgives them, so it doesn't matter? Most of us know deep down that evil matters. What people do to each other matters. Christianity doesn't solve that by saying sin is no big deal. It says the complete opposite. Sin matters so much that God entered into our suffering to confront it and defeat it. The cross doesn't make evil okay. It faces evil head on and still offers forgiveness to the one who committed it. That's where mercy and justice meet. Christians don't all explain the cross the same exact way. Some emphasize Christ taking the punishment we deserve. Others emphasize him defeating sin and death. Others emphasize sacrifice, reconciliation, or the way the cross reveals God's heart and changes ours. The Bible itself uses many images, but they all point to the same reality. Something has gone terribly wrong with us, and God did not stay distant and tell us to fix ourselves. We cannot talk about the cross without the resurrection. Christianity is not saying, Jesus died, the end. It's saying, Jesus died and rose again. We are not just rule breakers, we are trapped in sin and death. Jesus entered death itself and broke its power. The cross is not ultimately a story of defeat, it's a story of redemption. Death does not get the final word, sin doesn't get the final word, our brokenness does not get the final word. So could God have just said, I forgive you? Maybe. God is God. He was not forced into only one possible way of saving us, but Christianity tells us how he chose to save us. He did not overlook our sin. He did not leave us to rescue ourselves. He entered into our humanity. He took the consequences upon himself. He offered himself for us, and through the resurrection, he defeated death. So the real question is not, why did God need Jesus to die before he could love us? That's not what Christianity teaches. The better question is, what kind of love would go that far? What kind of love would enter our suffering, absorb the cost, and give itself to us completely, just to bring us home? If you ever asked, why couldn't God just forgive us? That's a fair question. But maybe we've been thinking of forgiveness too small. Forgiveness is not pretending nothing happened. It's not saying evil doesn't matter. It's not God being talked into loving us. It is God choosing to reconcile us to himself at great cost. At the cross, God doesn't just tell us he loves us, he shows us. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to make yourself perfect first. You don't have to wonder whether he cares about what you've done. He's already taken the first step toward you, and the step was the cross. God didn't need the cross to start loving us. The cross shows us how far his love was willing to go, and that's why, 2,000 years later, Christians still look at the cross and see not only death, but love, forgiveness, sacrifice, and hope.